Hey guys, Camford 15, joined by my co-host, Throy Wolf, and we're back with another Bleach episode review for you guys. As we are back talking Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War. And what an episode, what an interesting episode. Um,
Yes.
we have a flashback episode, which we predicted that would happen. And pretty much it's just Ichigo finding out his origins, his heritage, yada yada yada. The things that led up to him being Ichigo Kurosaki. Hopefully Ishin doesn't tell him how he banged his mom, but okay. What?
Go on.
All right. So let's get to this week's episode. So yes, this week's episode actually starts off where we have the creator of the Zanpakutos, Nehemiah, pretty much telling Renji, like, it didn't matter what Ichigo did, hell, you even knew it. He was never going to complete that trial or that test. There wasn't gonna be any of those pre Zanpakutos that would have accepted him. And pretty much he goes on to say, like, he knows about all of the Zanpakutos in existence, who has which Zanpakuto, yada yada yada. And the thing is, each of these Zanpakutos obviously accepted each Soul Reaper, and then became their own designated sword. Like he even made the mention, like even freaking Kenpachi, who just killed somebody and took their Zanpakuto, it went with him. Ichigo's the only one that has, you know, yet to have that, and he is not a Soul Reaper, pretty much.
Which makes you wonder what kind of weapon he would originally have then. Like, cause let's be real, he's like a combination of three things.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially when we get this week's episode. Um, so yeah, he's pretty much like, well, he got sent back, and he's got to realize who he is. So we cut back over to the world of the living. This is actually the world of the living. This isn't some like vision BS that we thought it was actually going to be. Like Ichigo seeing the past and everything, but he's a ghost to everybody in the past. But no, he's legit in the world of the living in front of his house. Ishin opens up. He's like, "Oh, you're back." But Ichigo was gone. He just left, and he's like, "This punk really left."
And where did he leave to? Mommy.
Yes, my co-host. I think when I did my Fullbringer arc review, I have to go back and watch it, but I think I did talk very highly of how good Ikomi looks as a character design, and more
Yes.
importantly, how much of a waifu she is.
Yes. I think we can all agree.
But yeah, Ichigo runs off to his boss's place. Now listen, you wouldn't catch me running to my boss's house to frickin' just be there. But hey, I'll give Ikumi credit. She is like a tsundere-like character, and she's pretty hard on Ichigo, especially because he misses a lot of work. But she opens up her doors to him. Hell, she even says in this episode, like, it's like I'm an older sister to you, so I guess if you're an Ichigo X Ikumi shipper, well, that's in the toilet. He just got sister rejected.
Who ships them?
I don't know. I could see people shipping them.
Yeah.
Any ships happening. Trust and believe.
Fan bases nowadays.
Yeah. Hold on, quick. I'll be back real quick. Okay, we're back. But yes, she opens in. She has him take a shower and everything. So she's really nice, people. She's a really nice boss. I really, honestly, deep down, she doesn't get a lot of appearances, but Ikumi is that one go-to person. Whenever it looks like Ichigo, he needs a freaking, I guess, one of those deep breath type of things. He just goes to her place, and she just opens up, and she actually takes care of him. Again, she made the reference like, it's like I'm an older sister towards you and everything. But regardless, Ikumi is a good-hearted person. She is a good-hearted person. She looks out for people, and I think that's also the fact that she has a son. So, obviously her motherly instincts in a way. But I do like the fact that she does care about him genuinely, even though she doesn't know that he's a Soul Reaper, which at this point, his freaking friends know. You might as well tell her now. Now the fact that she has his combat pass, he might as well go back for it and go freaking tell her like, yeah, I'm actually a supernatural being, and I save people.
Well, I think she's gonna find out eventually. Not that she has the baton pass.
Yeah, yeah. So, that's kind of thing. Now, in the meantime, while after he's done talking, he just looks up and all of a sudden, the doorbell rings. All of a sudden, Ishin confronts Ichigo, his son. He's like, "Come on, let's go home." Now, Ikumi can't see him because he's in his Shinigami form. Shinigami form. They go back to the house, and pretty much, if you remember back from the Fate Karakura Town arc, when Ishin showed up in the fight against Aizen, and we'll get to this whole thing about Aizen in a second. But he pretty much told Ichigo, well, you told me at that time that you would wait to hear the entire thing, the whole story about me and everything. Well, now's that time. He goes on to make the mention, oh, Orihara told me everything that's going on, so he knows about the Quincy's and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, and you mid to Squad Zero, and they kicked you out, huh? And obviously Ichigo's all shocked. Again, we see this episode, Ichigo, he gives that dejected look he typically gets when he thinks all hope is lost. I freaking hate when he gets that look, but, But anyways, Ishin's like, all right, it's time to tell you your origin story, pretty much. Well, I want to say your origin story, his origin story, and his mom's origin story. But regardless, pretty much he needs to understand the truth about who he is. And that's when we get to the flashback of this episode. So we get another Bleach flashback in the many Bleach flashbacks we've gotten over this course of a series. So,
quite a lot.
Yes. Now the flashback does start with Ishin and Masaki meeting each other, and that's when Masaki tells him, I'm a Quincy. I'm Masaki Kurosaki, and I am a Quincy. Anyways, we cut to the Soul Society. How many ever years ago? They don't specify it. But we see a much younger Rengiku Matsumoto. Yes, I'm all for it. Her hair looks somewhat similar to what her hair looks like now. It's short, but it's more curvy flowy. But she's still Rengiku that I sent for her.
Yeah, she still has her huge assets.
Yes. Her great huge assets.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it, man. Why can't I be in the Bleach world? Oh, actually, I don't want to be in the Bleach world, especially with what Aizen was fucking doing. Get the hell out of here.
You can fight him.
Anyways. Yeah, obviously this is Squad 10. We actually get information here. So before Rengiku was obviously the captain to Toshiro, we actually find out, shockingly enough, she was the lieutenant to Ichigo's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And when they put up his name, it's Ishin Shiba. So I just realized when I was like watching the episode, I'm like, oh, so he took his wife's last name. Nothing wrong with that, man. If you want to take your girl's last name, go right ahead.
That's a thinker. That's a thinker. Like once you get married, decide.
Now, I think the reason why he took her last name is so, I guess you could say, to keep these things hidden from Ichigo. And remember, if Ichigo's name wasn't Kurosaki, his last name was Shiba, just imagine if he goes to the Soul Society. Who was the first people he met in the Soul Society? Pretty much his cousins, Kukaku and Ganju. Pretty much, they would have been like, who the hell are you? And he would have said, I'm Ichigo Shiba. And they would have been like, Shiba? Wait a second. By any means, are you related to Ishin? And then he would have been, wait, that's my dad. How the hell you know my dad? And then they probably would have explained it. Oh, we're actually your cousins.
Imagine the shocked look on his face.
But I think that this is one of the men, and I think even when we get next week's episode, I think this is gonna be one of the things his dad says when we cut back to the president. He says, "Yeah, some of these things I'm telling you, the reason why we didn't tell you is because typical anime trope, really. When you have obviously your main male character finding out his backstory from his parents, typically, what is the typical excuse for the parents not to say, oh, why we didn't tell you this? Well, we were gonna wait to tell you when you were old enough to understand all this, but when you were younger, we wanted to keep this stuff hidden so you didn't have to learn about all this at an early age," which I maybe may have played into the fact that Masaki sacrificed her life to save Ichigo from Grand Fisher. I don't know, maybe, but again, I'll also get into another theory about that. Anyways. Yeah, that's the whole thing. He's just seems like the typical lazy captain that's like, why are you waking me up? I was just minding my own business. Come on. Now, don't know why Ishin didn't shoot a shot at Rengiku, but that's besides the point.
Oh, come on, man.
We go into the house. We see a much younger Toshiro Hitsugaya, who go ahead.
Ishin literally lifts him up like a little baby. Oh my god.
Yeah, we find out he's actually about to be a captain soon, so I'm guessing Ishin wanted him to replace him, or I guess we'll go somewhere else. And Renkiku gets kind of pissed off. She's like, "What the hell does he get to be a captain before me?" And obviously, Ishin's like, "Well, because you would be tearing down your own freaking court guard. You got your barracks, pretty much." And she's like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" And even Toshiro's like, "I agree." And she started grabbing at his cheek and everything. I'm like, I remember at some point when I was watching this series, I actually shipped them.
Nah, not anymore.
Now, not anymore. Now, yes, I knew, like, at some point I could tell, okay, I do ship Toshiro with Momo, but at the same time, I could be like, I still could see maybe a potential ship happening with him and Rengiku. They do care about each other a lot, and Rengiku cares about Toshiro a lot. But then I saw that whole thing bigger, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no. They're like a brother and sister duo.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Rengiku, like I said, she deeply cares about Toshiro, and she actually does show him a lot of respect, which is funny. So, but yeah, he, we know Toshiro. He gets kind of annoyed with Rengiku's antics, though. So,
yeah, especially when she rubs on him.
Yeah. So Ishin made the right call in saying, no, you're not going to be a captain. Plus, she doesn't have a Bankai either.
Yeah, so. Toshiro has been practicing, so
yeah. We already know that Toshiro, he was one of those Shinigami that was like he was like of a special kind. Like he has all this potential, especially with his Bankai abilities. You get a funny scene where, Ishin, he's not worried about what Toshiro's talking about, two Soul Reapers dying in the world of the living due to undisclosed reasons. Ishin's more worried about why the hell his food's gone, and Toshiro's just like, it was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Toshiro likes to eat his food, but pretty much, Ishin sees that two Soul Reapers mysteriously disappeared and have mysteriously been killed, and he ends up going to the world of the living. Now, he tells Toshiro and Rengiku to stay in the Squad 10 barracks, but Rengiku wants to come, and he's like, no, just stay here. I'll only be back in 2 days and everything. And Rengiku's like, but wait, the head captain doesn't know. So I think we also are finding out how he probably got exiled from the Soul Society. Not only this whole aspect of more than likely hooking up with a Quincy, I think going against the head captain's word of going to the world of the living without telling him was probably another, I guess you can say, strike. And we know, again, Yamamoto at the time, he did not like the Quincy, so I think he put his foot down. He's like, well, if you're gonna freaking go against my word, go against without me telling you to go to the world of the living without my approval. And then on top of it, you're dating or hooking up with a Quincy? Don't you know what they did to us in the past? Yeah, I think we get the basic reason to why he was kicked out of the Soul Society, like how Uehara was kicked out of the Soul Society and everything. But I also feel like Aizen might have a role to play in this. He might say, well, Hey, listen, I wasn't in my world. I just saw him go leave for the world of living. Might do that, but anyways, that's besides the freaking point. He goes off. Toshiro's like, don't worry about it, Rengiku. We would just be holding him back, if anything. Speaking of Aizen, which, funny enough, I should have thought, well, shit, this was at the freaking time. This is in the past. Of course, Aizen has some role to play in the past, because if you look at every goddamn character's backstory in this series, he always has something to do with their said story. Mind you, you can even still say he is the villain of Bleach.
I still stand by it.
So, I don't know why I was so freaking shocked when I watched the episode. I was like, what the hell? I was like, he's involved again! And I'm like, oh wait. He practically almost damn near took down the entire Soul Society because of the conniving shit he was doing behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So, it should have not been shocking to me that, of course, somehow, Aizen was a part of this whole issue going on. Anyways, it's this whole thing. We find out that, apparently they're doing more holification projects, of course, with, Gin and Tozen. And, they're also looking for, Shinji and the other, members who are the other visors at the time. And they just can't locate where they're at. Well, the reason why they can't locate where they're at is because Uehara took them in hiding to obviously the world of the living. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we cut back to the world of the living. We see these two Soul Reapers just pursuing the area. It's not Karakura town. They're in a different city for their squad. And pretty much Ishin shows up. He's like, listen, I heard that there's Soul Reapers dying. I'm here to figure out the issue is. You guys stay out of hiding. Or you guys hide somewhere or stay near me, and then I'll take care of it. So, yeah. Now, in the meantime, we cut over to Ichigo's mom's content. Masaki Kurosaki. Shit, that shit rhymes. Damn.
Yeah.
All right, explain to us about Masaki.
So she's eating with her. She's eating with her aunt. They're discussing something about what were they discussing about again? Like
pretty much how she's doing in school, and I guess how her Quincy training is going.
Yeah, Misaki was all like so, and her aunt really like just reacted like so. And she's like, do you have any idea what that means and stuff? And her aunt walked out the door. And guess who walks in?
Before that, what is one information point we find about Masaki's family?
You say it, man, because I...
You sure?
Yeah.
Well, pretty much she's the last remaining member of the Kurosaki family in her family. So pretty much all the Quincy's in the Kurosaki family died out. And she's the last remaining one. The only reason, which we later find out, Ryu's mom only took her in because she's a full-blooded Quincy. And she's pretty much the last of her kind. So that's the only reason why, although she's kind of treated harshly by her, but I digress. But go on. Yes, I just made a reference on who walked in, surprisingly.
Yes, Uryu's dad. Or young dad. He came in apologizing to her about his mom, aka her aunt or adoptive aunt or whatever her relationship is with her.
Yeah, they're not related, guys. At first, I thought, I'm like, wait, if that's her aunt, then what the frick? That would mean Ichigo and friggin' Uryu are cousins in some weird way.
That's what I was gonna say, but then you said like they're not blood related.
They're not related. They're not related. I think she just calls her aunt because I guess it must be something close in the race or something like that. Whatever, I don't know. But go ahead. Continue on with your thing.
You take it, man, because I can't really speak right now.
Okay, yeah. So pretty much, it's the whole thing of like, they're just talking and everything, just having a nice chit chat. So yeah, she seems really buddy with Ryu and everything, and she appreciates, um, well, their family taking them in. So, it was a shock to see Uryu's dad, and I'm like, oh, now he's involved in this backstory too. So yeah, she ends up going to her room, and everything. The one thing about Masaki's design so far, especially in this alliteration, her features look like a fusion of Orihime and Rengiku, like literally.
Only smaller.
Only small, and then I guess she has slightly darker orange hair, or the orange is kind of faded out of her hair.
Kind of brown. It's kind of brown.
Yeah, it's kind of orange brownish.
Mm-hmm.
More faded out, but regardless, she looks exactly identical. And hell, in her way, her own, I guess you would say, her own personality is that of like a similar, and I've been seeing that in other people's reviews. Of it's similar. Her personality is kind of that similar of Orihime, which when you get to the whole Ichigo thing, we see that this whole overprotective, like, I'm not going to stand idly by and see somebody get hurt for nothing, and I'm going to have regrets. That's similar to what Ichigo is like. And also, too, Orihime, we know she likes to also try to help out as best she can as well. Again, it makes sense why Ichigo, I don't think he's developed feelings for Orihime, but he's really close with her, and I think you can say he likes her, or he may look at her in that type of way. Mostly probably because he can see that she relates really close to his mom.
You'll never know. We still have plenty of story left that we have not seen yet. We never know. They might get closer.
Yeah, but they haven't shown enough of it on screen. Like, the closest we've probably seen the relationship develop was when she damn near almost kissed him.
Yeah, that's.
If anything, she's shown more romantic feelings towards him than he has so far.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that he doesn't care. I think he really truly does care. He doesn't go to freaking Hukamundo damn near all on his own just to try to save her against all those damn espadas. I think that means a lot. Although I still get that funny shit from the part when he picks her up and he's like, "You're kind of heavy," and then where Nell literally headbutts him in the balls. That's one of the funniest dub lines ever.
Mm-hmm.
You should never call a lady fat, even if she's a hippo.
Oh my god, Nell, we love you.
Yes, we do. Anyways, yeah, so that's kind of holding. Now, we see how Uryu's dad, Ryu, has a talk with their butler, Katagiri, which we find out Katagiri and this other butler, they're like half Quincy's. They're like of a race of something else, probably like human. They're half human / Quincy, so they're pretty much half breeds. So they're not considered full Quincy's. And pretty much we have it to where, you know, Uryu's dad is telling Katagiri, like, hey, you know, she knows the reason why we put her into this family and everything, but I think maybe the best thing to do to make her feel a little bit better, maybe I could marry her. And I'm like, huh? Marry her? So we see at some point, it seems like Uryu's dad was maybe had romantic feelings for Masaki?
Although
it doesn't look like that, but I take it as a way it looked like it was going to be an arranged marriage.
Yeah, it was more like an arranged marriage, not one out of love, I'll be honest.
Yeah. And the only reason why, and it would only be because the mother, Ryu's mother approved it because she wants to keep this full-blooded Quincy line going on. So that's the only thing. Now, the interesting thing is, every time in this episode, they cut to Katagiri, the butler. Every time, there's one moment he says her name, and she's like, yes, yes, young master. She speaks glowingly, but when he starts talking about Masaki, she gets a little bit depressed, and she has that typical look you see in these romance animes where it's like, I don't like you talking about another girl.
By the way, the female butlers are known as maids, not butlers.
Maids, butlers, whatever. Yeah, I know, maids. My bad.
I mean, after all, I'm simply one hell of a butler. Black Butler reference.
Anyways, just from that information I just gave alone, I think when Masaki ended up going to hook up with not Ichigo, my God, get that out of my fucking head. Ishin, um,
Oh
what
my
is it?
god.
It only makes sense that based off on Uryu's design, he has black hair. He doesn't have the same gray white hair like his father. It makes sense when Masaki ended up with Ishin, who
Mhm.
probably is Uryu's mother.
Yes.
More than likely, it's Katagiri, the maid. Now, the question I want to know is what the hell happened to Katagiri? My best guess is she probably ended up either having a very tragic death, or maybe, I'm just throwing it out there, maybe Ryu's mom was so pissed about her son marrying a half Quincy, and what if she killed Katagiri? I'm just throwing it out there. That's just my prediction. But I think we can all come to an agreement. Katagiri is the mother of Uryu.
I think so, yeah.
They have the similar type hair. That's pretty much it. And then also too, when you go back to the original series, Uryu's dad doesn't really want to talk about his wife. So I think something tragic must have happened. Now the question is, does Uryu's dad, did he truly love Katagiri? That's the question.
My question is, was she killed by a Hollow or a Soul Reaper?
That's a good theory right there. Maybe she was killed by another Quincy. You don't know.
Maybe a Quincy too. OMG.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, in the meantime, we have it to where Ishin, he lets out his spiritual pressure to try to get the attention of whatever's there, and yeah, it got its attention all right. And it's funny because I actually went over to my boy's house a few hours ago, and I saw his reaction to when the Soul Reaper got his head cut off.
Yeah, that the top part of his head literally got cut off, and there was literally blood splattering everywhere. Like, oh my god, we're at this again?
Yep. They ain't holding back.
Oh my god.
So we see Ishin. He is confronting a Hollow, and its mask is obviously white, and its full body is black, and it has no empty hole. And it's funny because this Hollow looks very similar to Ichigo fought against Ulquiorra in his hollowified state.
Yeah, when I first saw it, why does this look so familiar? Is this a sign?
So it looks like Ichigo's Vaste Lorde Hollow form. Again, that's the form he fought against Ulquiorra in the final battle, where he literally lost his shit and just had no control.
Mm-hmm.
So Ishin's fighting this thing, and this thing is freaking tough. And Ishin's making the mention this thing's a Hollow, but it's fighting like a Soul Reaper. And he's fighting this thing. He's going back and forth with this thing. And then there's one part in this fight. He looks like he's getting the upper hand. He powers up his Zanpakuto. So we find out, I guess, the ability of his Zanpakuto has to deal with something with fire. But who gets involved?
Eyes.
Yes, he cuts him from the back.
I was like,
I bet you thought he was gonna show down and he's gonna be like, Ishin, time to die. Huh. Again, I saw this guy's reaction. It was absolutely hilarious, to be honest. In the mean, oh yeah. Now Ishin, he's like, I don't know where it's coming from, but that was definitely a Zanpakuto that hit me. So he knows there's a traitor among them. Now the only problem is, especially when it comes to these damn backstories, now Ishin didn't know it was Aizen, but he knew there was a traitor. I freaking always hate it every time we get to these Bleach flashbacks, and it always involved Aizen, how the hell he would get away with it every damn time till literally the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Uehara had this guy, Shinji had this guy, but they were too little, too late, and plus nobody believed them. this man Aizen really was getting away with cold blood murder.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the whole thing. Ishin does this one cool technique. He gets like the blood off his back and he just like blows it, and it takes out one of the freaking Hollow's arms off. And I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. In the meantime, Masaki and Uryu's dad, Ryu, they're sensing the spiritual pressure going on. She tries to go out there to go see what's going on, but Uryu's dad is like, you can't go out there. We'll send the half Quincy's out there before you do it. There's no need to shed a full Quincy's blood. But obviously, Masaki's whole motivation, she's like, I'm not gonna let somebody innocently die because of our customs. What our traits, what we're supposed to do. Because he tells her, like, don't worry about the Soul Reaper. We only go there if the Soul Reaper dies. If he dies, then we go clean up the Soul Reaper's mess, pretty much. But Masaki's not about that. Again, similar trait to that of Ichigo. We've seen him time and time again defy against what the rules are supposed to be, because guess what? He wants to protect his friends and his family. And he's willing to do that. Similarly to that of what Masaki showed here. So we see Ichigo gets that personality trait from his mom. And I guess you could say he gets the funniness from his dad.
I guess, but I mean, Ichigo has that more of a bad boy kind of attitude compared to...
That is true.
So I guess that's just his own personality compared to his mom or his dad, because I don't see that kind of bad boy or bad girl attitude coming from them.
Maybe that's why Orihime's into him. So yeah, it looks like Ishin's gonna get hit by a Sero as we get cut back to the fight. But then, who shows up?
Masaki.
Yeah, she shows up. She has the arrows going, the Quincy arrows. I'm like, oh my girl, looking clean, looking sexy, yada yada yada, looking badass. Don't lie, you knew she looked good this episode. She looked hot. Regardless, we only got limited time left. Let's finish this episode review off. Anyways, she comes in like a badass. And my goodness, you know, Ishin's like, what the hell? Obviously, she's firing off the arrows. Now, the thing is, we see Toes, and he's like, hold on, let me take care of her. And we see how Aizen's like, no, I actually want to see this. And he gives the most crazed eye look. He's like, yes, let's see a Quincy go up against this Hollow. Now, funny enough, him doing that move essentially ended up creating his own downfall. Because, funny enough, their kid ended up defeating him. Maybe he should have let Tozen go.
Yeah, he probably should have.
And now this also answers the fact, because there was a huge thing. If you remember back in the fake Karakura Town arc, there was a moment when Aizen was going up against Ichigo, and he's like, I know who you truly are. I've known you since before you were born. And he wasn't lying.
Your strength is all according to my plan.
So, and it's funny enough, because all the people in the community are saying, it looks like Aizen is a shipper.
Well, yes, but actually no.
Yeah. So,
I mean, unless he ships a three-way, like ships Ishin, Masaki, and the Hollow.
No. So now we get the understanding of how Aizen knew that Ichigo's mom was a Quincy. So he wasn't bullshitting about him knowing Ichigo before he was born. He fucking knew. Because he saw this whole incident happen in the past, which now answers questions that I guess people had questions to.
I had questions to that, yes.
Well, now we know. We got those questions answered. So she ends up firing off more arrows, but the Vassalorda Hollow is dodging it with utter ease because it's so fast. She ends up taking down her arrow. She ends like, come. Or no, she's like, come. Like, I'm like, who you think you're Orihime trying to talk to freaking Ukiyor to say come and take my hand before he died? No, that doesn't happen.
Not far off.
She ends up getting bitten on the shoulder. And my God. She kills this hollow off in one of the most badass fashions I have seen in anime. Period. I was like, when I saw that kill scene, I was just like, all right, Masaki, you're waifu for life.
Yes.
That was badass. She just like, I'm like, damn,
Oh, yeah,
Masaki, you like that? You like that? Okay.
But it didn't die without almost blowing up.
Oh yes. So it almost blows up, but Ishin comes in, saves her, and prevents her from being blown up. But he's badly damaged and everything. So he saved her, she saved him, and then he saved her. And then, flowers happen, and he's like, who the hell are you? And everything, and that's when, she's wondering, like, should I tell him if I'm a Quincy? What if he hates me and everything? What if it, because he's a Soul Reaper and everything? Actually, we're gonna end the video real quick. We'll come back. I actually wanted to get this whole theory thing off my chest because this actually might take a few minutes to explain. Hold on a quick second, guys.
Might take
Okay.
Oh, are we recording?
Yeah. We're back. Okay. Actually, what was your thoughts on when she did that badass kill?
I was like, dang! Even Ichigo's mother's a badass?
Yeah. She hot and she badass. She 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. But like I said, he's on the ground after saving her. She's wondering, like, should I tell him I'm a Quincy? What if he hates me for it? And what if he tries to kill me for being a Quincy? But she ends up, it was a long-running romance series. She would purposely hide this information from him. Trust me, I watch a lot of romance animes. But no, she gets to the point, she tells him, she's like, my name is Masaki Kurosaki, and I'm a Quincy. Ishin gives this look, like, he looks serious, like, he looks like, you're a Quincy? But he's like, oh, you're a Quincy? And then he starts laughing. He's like, I've never met a Quincy before. Oh, it's so cool to finally meet one after all these years, huh? And she's actually taken aback. She's shocked. She's like, wait, he actually doesn't mind me? And pretty much, what does she wonder? I guess you can say.
I wonder if also Reapers are like this.
I'm just like,
I
don't think you want to be
Yeah.
So you can clearly see this whole relationship between Masaki and Ishin looks like kind of a Kubo's version of Romeo and Juliet.
Yes. Yes, I just realized that.
Obviously, you have the Soul Reaper, Quincy, two groups that don't like each other, just like in Romeo and Juliet. They have this moment, they meet, and they fall in love.
But unlike Romeo and Juliet, they never had a kid.
Yes. So yeah, we see that Uryu's dad was there overseeing it with Katagiri, and pretty much Uryu's dad is like, okay, she's safe. Do not, under any circumstances, tell my mother about this. Because
I feel like she's gonna find out.
Oh yeah, she's gonna find out, all right. So yeah, the thing is, we see it to where Masaki, we don't see her healing her, but she says like, oh, let me heal you. So this definitely starts a relationship between the two where one's definitely falling for one, and they're both falling for each other. And then I guess we're gonna get the build up in the next episode about how they came together and and everything. So yeah. And maybe that's how he ends up actually hooking up with her. The fact that he ends up getting exiled probably from the Soul Society. Well, he probably finds her in the world of the living again.
Yeah, and well, he gets exiled and he decides to live life as a human being.
He probably finds her again and they just hook up.
Having 3 kids.
Yes. Now, we cut back to the Soul Society as Aizen is already back there in his
hidden underground basement that is all dark and purple.
Yes.
Now Tozen is kind of pissed off. He's like, "What the fuck, man? Why did the Hollow go away from the Soul Reaper to the Quincy?" And we kind of find out some harrowing information here. So we find out pretty much in a way the Hollow pretty much hollified Masaki.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much Aizen's like, "Well, now listen, calm down. This actually isn't a bad idea. I was always interested about a Soul Reaper being hollified, but a Quincy being hollified? Now I like that. Let's see how this plays out."
And thus, it affected them and their kids. I don't know about their other two kids, but one of them.
So, with this information alone, now this makes absolute freaking sense. Why the fuck Ichigo has always been hinted at this fact, like, he's this talent. Why does he have this, like, really talented potential? Why is he this powerful at so early on in the series? Because people are like, this guy's potential is freaking off the charts. Now we find out. This guy is a triple breed. He is not only a Shinigami, he gets that from his dad. He's not only a Quincy that his Quincy powers are just now developing, but he gets that from his mom. And now we find out because his mom, Masaki, was infected, and she was infected with the hollification process from the Hollow. She had, I guess, Hollow abilities within herself too. And what does that happen when you have offspring? Well, of course, it passes down to the offspring. So Ichigo also, now we get the answers of why he was able to have the Hollow mask, how he's able to transform into a Hollow. He got it from his mom.
It makes you wonder, though. How about his two sisters? Won't they like awaken something later on in the future?
Yeah, you would have to imagine that his Yuzu and Karin have it. The thing is, they have not awakened their abilities yet. They haven't awakened. They haven't done any Shinigami training.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, it looks like they're not into it. And they know that Ichigo does that stuff, but I think they don't want nothing of that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think they want nothing of that. Ishin's not forcing them to do any of that because eventually he's also at some point he's obviously gonna have that talk with them too about what happened to your mother, what you truly are, yada yada. So that means all the Kurosaki siblings, they are not only Shinigami. It explains also why Karin is actually able to see hollows. Now, it still doesn't make sense why Yuzu can't see hollows or see any of these people still. That's obviously a question for another day that might not be ever answered. But they all have Ichigo, Karin, and Yuzu. They have freaking Shinigami blood, Quincy blood, and Hollow blood running through their veins.
Mm-hmm.
Now it makes sense why Ichigo has been this OP as shit, why he has these Hollow powers for some odd reason, and now why he has Quincy abilities. Now we kind of actually see why Nehemiah said, "You're no Soul Reaper." I don't even know what you freaking call him now.
Shin Quinslow. I don't know.
He's definitely a special category. Definitely a special category.
Soul Quinslow.
Shit, I just realized if he ends up hooking up with Orihime and they have a kid, now you add the human gene element to it. On top of the Hollow, the Quincy, and the Shinigami.
Quadruple.
Oh my god! Ichigo might have just started a whole new race.
Oh my god, you got... Oh man.
Wow, okay. Fuck. Anyways, so after all the crazy reveal, what is our cliffhanger?
Uryu standing in the rain, looking down with that one Quincy guy that was with Yohabak.
Now tell me what you saw in the opening that you told me about that I didn't pick up.
Yes, I predicted it, man. I predicted it. Just so you know, I think to this day, Gojo Ishida is gonna betray Ichigo and his friends. And yeah.
Because in the opening, I didn't catch this. I did not catch this. My friend over here caught this in the
Yeah,
opening.
yeah, yeah. I caught it like a few episodes ago. Like, I forgot to keep telling you. Like, I should have told you. Like, Cameron, have you ever gotten a good look at the anime opening with the group of the Quincy's?
Yes, with the group of the Quincy's on the far right, or are you standing among them? So, look, I don't know what this is supposed to mean so far. It's like my friend said over here. Prediction is he turns on Ichigo and the friends, which would be really out of character for him to do that.
I mean, then again, he saw the truth. So,
Oh yeah, because you read the book.
like now he's just gonna take matters into his own hands or something.
I don't know, man. This Uryu storyline is going to be very interesting for the fight. Oh man. You would have to imagine his dad's going to get involved in this, but his dad seems like he doesn't really give a damn.
More like he doesn't wanna give a damn.
So, yeah, it's very interesting. Maybe that will get explained next week. But again, the whole thing, I think we're now going to get the setup to what happens now and what is the setup. Now, my only last thing I want to bring up is it's interesting. We see that Masaki was able to use her Quincy abilities. Now, my only thing is, and I hope they explain it. Now, if you guys don't know, next week, because obviously the holidays, they're not only giving us episode 12, we're getting episode 13 as well. We're getting pretty much a 1 hour special, like what Dragon Ball gave us a few years back. We're getting a 1 hour special. We're getting 2 episodes that's gonna end up the series, which I'll take it. Practically, you're getting a movie right there. And what a way to end off the first half of Bleach. But I feel like they'll explain it in the next two episodes. But my question is, it's interesting. She was able to use her Quincy abilities back then. Why didn't she use it to save Ichigo from Grand Fisher? That's my only question. Now, is it because she's, I guess, infected with the holification? Her Quincy abilities go away? Are they disappear? Probably. That's my best guess.
Wait, didn't she save him and she ended up dying in the end? Or
I don't know. No.
Wait,
we don't know much about his mom up until now. My guess is because she was infected with the holification whole thing. Maybe over time she lost the ability to use her Quincy powers. That's my only guess. That's the only reason why I could say why she did not use her Quincy powers against Grand Fisher. The only other reason is maybe she could use her Quincy powers. The only thing is, typical anime trope, she didn't want to show her true power off to Ichigo, who's at a young age, and then she has to explain to him, you're not really human. You're actually this, and this. And I think for a kid at his age, I think that would have been too much information for him to, I guess, how would I say it? Just take in. And that was a young Ichigo. So I think purposely, after I guess when Ishin gets exiled, Masaki obviously maybe she gets exiled from the Quincy's and the Quincy's don't value her anymore and they shun her away. Especially that damn grandma or the aunt. She probably does definitely get the fuck out the house probably. When she finds out about this whole relationship she's having with the Soul Reaper probably. You saw how she was acting. She was kind of nuts. So I could see the aunt being like, you're out of here. You're not a Quincy no longer. And they'll have nowhere else to go. They get married, yada, yada, yada. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And I think they agree. And I'm guessing their whole thing was, I'm guessing they agree that if we have kids, we're not going to tell them till they're of age to know about their origins, pretty much. That's my only guess. Typical anime trope. I fucking hate it every time. It's like, just tell your freaking kids. When they're old enough, I would think maybe when they go into high school or hell, junior high, they should be good enough to know. But it is what it is. But that was my only thing. What were my thoughts? What are your thoughts on my predictions about this whole thing about her sacrifice?
All I can say is let's wait and see, man.
Yeah. I definitely should have seen Aizen in the backstory coming. He
God,
definitely influences every damn character's backstory in the series.
all this, all this information is making my head hurt.
Yeah. And then as for Uryu, I don't know. I feel like maybe he's gonna be in the presence of Yu Habak, and that's what's gonna be our cliffhanger of the entire first core. Which I'm gonna be like, "You goddamn bastard! Why would you end it off there?" But we're gonna be left off of a cliffhanger that we're gonna be all saying collectively, "What the f?" And we have to wait. And no, I'm not gonna go read the manga. I'm going to wait for this to come.
Sure you are.
I'm not. I swear I'm not. I'm not. I want to see all this blind, and I've been blown away.
Okie dokie.
So, yeah, that's all that we got to say about this week's episode of Bleach. But that's kind of the whole thing. Now, as for next week, I don't think my co-host is gonna be in town. He's gonna be obviously in Mexico celebrating the holidays. So I will more than likely be going solo for the last two episodes to close out Bleach 1000 or Bleach 1000-Year Blood War arc. And whenever Bleach 1000-Year Blood War comes back, which should be spring of 2023, unless I guess we make a whole first recap of the entire first portion of this arc, which I don't see myself doing probably. You'll get his thoughts on the last two episodes, but going into the first episode of core number 2. So yeah, so look forward to that. By that logic, you'll definitely be getting the episode review in the morning compared to late tonight. Again, reason why I went over to my boy's house, we had to look around the mall for potential Christmas gifts for our families. That's it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we only had a few ideas, but not much.
Yes. Anyways, guys, anything else you got to say about this episode, or you're good to go?
My head hurts, man. My head hurts.
Yes. Anyways, we're gonna get out of here. Catch you guys in the next video. Oh, it'll be interesting. Will Uehara actually find Ishin in the world of the living too? That would be interesting because they do know of each other.
Yes.
So maybe he does find her. And also too, he's gonna also meet Iryu's dad in the past because they also know each other too.
Yes.
Maybe they fight over Masaki. Yes. I would like that. Yeah. Fight for the
Sure. You sure love them drama.
I do. These damn drama animes, man. I gotta start watching these romance series. They had too much drama in it, and I don't like it. It breaks my heart. Anyways, we're gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of Bleach 1000-Year Blood War. Again, sorry for the late long video. I just want to get everything off my chest because this episode was insane. So sorry that this video is like damn near almost an hour, but sorry. That's what we do, right? Anyways, we're gonna get out of here. Catch you guys in the next video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Camp 15 content on Bleach content or any other anime content on the channel, as well as hit the subscribe button to my co-host channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. He does gameplay and stuff like that. I hope he gets an SD card because I really wanted to see him play high on life after watching one playthrough.
I cannot find an interest for a micro SD card on this thing, so I no promises here.
I mean, I guess my man needs to save up for a laptop.
Isn't there something that's like similar for the Xbox, but for the laptop too?
You mean Microsoft Workbook or something like that? I don't know.
Never mind. Guess I'll figure it out my own way.
I guess so. Well, anyways, guys, hope you guys have a great rest of your night or day when you check this video. Until then, guys, peace.